Kyle Kulinski is a progressive commentator and YouTuber who has contributed massively to his side of the aisle, boasting a subscriber count of nearly 1 million subs, and co-founded the Justice Democrats, a group of political candidates that include AOC. He is one of the first political YouTubers that I was exposed to a decade ago, and despite watching only a few videos back then, I agreed more with his politically left takes, but hated his pro-atheism stances. When I became more political years later, I rediscovered him and found him to be one of the smarter lefties that very few conservatives responded to, or at least very prominent ones. His more politically incorrect approach in comparison to his fellow progressives, in conjunction with what I saw as a smarter argumentation, made me feel simultaneously a little intimidated by him, but also somewhat respect him. He also seemed quite principled. An example is him criticizing lefties who refuse to acknowledge the positives of Rand Paul's anti-war stances.
Rand Paul is making an inarguably correct point on one thing, but they say, no, let's not have a discussion about drones. Let's push that conversation to the side and ignore how he's right about civil liberties. Let's only focus on the ridiculous stuff he said.
So it was extremely surprising to find that not only did Kyle co-found the Justice Democrats with the Young Turks, but was an affiliate member of their network. He joined the Young Turks back in 2013 and had quite a high opinion of them at the time.
You are listening to the newest member of the TYT network. So for those of you who don't know, the Young Turks is just an absolute YouTube giant. I mean, I'm talking about I haven't looked at their numbers in a while, but I'm thinking like well over 600,000 subscribers on just the main channel.
This felt like a stark contrast between an intelligent moderate and a group of emotional SJWs, and this has not only been picked up by me and others, but Kyle himself years later after he joined.
I feel like a lot of progressives who watch your show enjoy your content, but find TYT to be kind of annoying or social justice warrior-esque. The fact that me and them don't agree on everything is totally fine. I wouldn't expect them to agree with me on everything. But sure, there are times I've seen some stuff they did, and I cringed a little. Like, for example, there was one a while back, there was some video game that was released, and it was, I guess there was like slavery in the video game or something, and they did this big segment about how, wrong that is, and you dedicate 10 minutes to bashing video game, like whatever. Yeah.
Now I was even more stunned. How could Kyle be tolerated by someone like the Young Turks, who calls others racist, grifters, and corporate sellouts over basic disagreements? Then it happened. Former TYT member Jimmy Dore attacked the Young Turks over disagreements on forced vote, foreign policy discussions, TYT's union busting, and receiving millions in donations from very rich people. It got to the point that Dore called TYT sellouts and vice versa. Now this isn't my usual content, I don't do drama, but I believe this is an instance of the left eating its own over minute differences. But first, my part 2 Richard Wolff response video has been laid to next week, so sorry about that. Anyway, because Kyle was silent on a foreign policy issue within the whole drama, Dore and his associates considered Kyle as a sellout. Kyle responded, and he lost at least 1,800 subscribers from my metrics. It may actually be more, but at least I can say that I gained 1,820 more subs than one of the biggest left-wing YouTubers online.
Again, for the record, he's a victim in this. He didn't do anything wrong, he's minding his business, he's a lovely dude, and then he gets this from TYT. It's super... In my defense and in Crystal's defense, the reason why we didn't say anything about this is because we thought it obvious, of course. Of course they look ridiculous in this. And I don't think they're convincing many people, bringing many people to their side with stuff like that.
That seems like a decent reason to not talk about it, since it wasn't necessary. Of course, that wasn't enough for Dore, even when Kyle critiqued TYT further.
Alright, come on guys. Jimmy and Aaron are right about X, Y, and Z. The Young Turks, you're wrong about most of the policy stuff here, let's be serious.
Kyle also brought up that he didn't want to involve himself in the beef, since they were his friends.
I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, dog. And listen, I think you're lying if you don't think that's understandable.
But Kyle, both parties have made morally slanderous accusations against each other. Either one of them is right, one of them is lying, or being extremely negligent in their accusations. I'm sorry, but you would have to pick a side or disavow both factions. I also considered the Young Turks to be hypocritical on unions and receiving money, which gave Dore sufficient ammo, but Kyle had his own response.
Cenk has always been sort of openly hostile to unions. There's clips back from TYT in like 2008 where he mentioned unions and he's like, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of unions. You could dislike it because you disagree with Cenk and Anna. It doesn't have to be because of the money thing and they're, nefarious, twisting their evil mustache behind closed doors like, mwahaha, I will now change direction of the show because I got the money. Listen, the only criticism I have on that front is they made a lot of bad business decisions. I think it's gross if you take investment money and then you also turn around and do grassroots fundraising. Don't do that.
At the end, it appears he wanted to be separated from the people involved.
Not only do I not want anything to do with this, I don't want anything to do with them either.
And he may have gotten his wish.
So, yeah, and, giving in to no men, trying to appease them when that's a hopeless task. I don't know who that might be. I'm sure it's not a guy whose name rhymes with Mile Kulinski.
Ooh, okay.
And if you couldn't take the hint, here's something more explicit.
Kyle is no longer part of the network. And so he says that he disagrees with us on some policy issues. It is what it is. Good luck to him. And let's see if he can placate the people he's trying to placate. My guess is it'll end in disaster. It has already started in disaster and probably will head in that direction. So we've had Kyle on many times before. And we had a great relationship with him. We've done many shows with him and supported him. Nowadays, though, he seems to be going in a different direction. Everybody's free to make their own choices.
Those TYT clips were taken by Stephen Michael Davis, who I make thumbnails for, and his channel is linked below. I would also love for you to like this video and comment, but watch the rest of this video for a more relevant point. Kyle has been abandoned by both Jimmy Dore and the Young Turks over small misunderstandings and a few policy differences. This is because many progressives have high standards that they can't meet, yet set those same standards for others, and this includes Kyle. I don't know if I will still hold this view, but he always seemed like one of the more reasonable progressives online, which is why this next part is a little depressing.
All I know is that the Young Turks is probably, as if I had to rank news outlets and say, okay, which one does the best actual reporting, which one is the most factual, which one is the most knowledge-driven and information-based, I honestly don't even think it's close. I think the Young Turks, and I'm not just saying that because I am a partner, I believe that before I became a partner. The Young Turks are, without a doubt, the most solid news outlet that's out there.